Hi guys, I'm Sarah for those who I have not met before. I thought I would do another little veggie patch update just because a couple of people have been asking me for one. I've been doing these little veggie patch ad hoc updates since August this year, and I thought these would be a great thing to do just to encourage people who are not good gardeners like me sort of to say, hey, this is how easy it is. Have a crack, see how you go. Now, I personally just looked back on my veggie patch update that I did in August, and I had almost, these veggie patches were almost bare. And looking at them now, it's not only money saving, but it's a sense of pride in putting stuff on the table that you've made yourself. I grew this, that's great. Even lunchtime today, I pulled out some radishes, grated them up for sandwiches, picked some lettuce that had come straight from the garden, and even some celery. We're sort of getting to the point where a lot of things that I've planted are actually going to seed now. And of course, once you've made that investment in a few packets of seeds to grow things, if you're growing the right sort of things, especially if you get heritage varieties, you can collect the seeds, dry them off, put them in a nice dry place for next season, plant them again next season. So I'm hoping I have encouraged a lot of people to have a crack at this. Now, all those lettuces that I had growing, they are going to seed. You'll see they are all starting to get their own seeds and stuff on there now. Now, a lot of people, when the lettuces start getting like this, like growing like towers, they just kind of pluck them out. But I don't. I actually keep on eating the leaves because there's nothing wrong with them. They still taste perfectly good, to me anyway. Maybe I'm uncultured palate, I don't know. But they're fine. So I've still been picking away at these lettuces. I've just left them in the ground, and I come out and I grab a few leaves from each one, chop them up, chuck them in sandwiches. Over here is my celery that I grew from another celery that I cut off at the base, put it on my windowsill. You might have seen me do it in on the video. And look at that. That has grown brilliantly. We actually had some of that with our lunch today. Now over here we've got some of our, there's some broccoli, some cauliflowers, and some red cabbages. Now in various stages of growth, these ones were planted first. So, some of them are springing up quicker than others. I should point out, we've got a random potato here. That's fine, it can do its thing. We've actually just been away for a week, and I've just come back now, so hence why there's quite a bit of weeding that still needs to be done. We've got a few more random potatoes, but that's fine. They can do what they've got to do. They can do their thing. I dug up all the bok choy that we had growing there, and I actually planted a new row of it, so that's the new row of bok choy that's growing. That really needs a good water, so I'm going to give these all a good water today as well. Some more little carrots coming up. Whenever I get a spare little patch in the garden in between other things growing, I tend to sprinkle some carrot seeds because they do well. Check out the garlic. It requires a lot of patience, but check it out. So yeah, that seems to be doing good. I think pretty soon I'm going to look at digging up one or two of them and see how they're going. Over here is where I did have my beetroot planted. I dug up the beetroot. As I suspected, I didn't do that well out of it. However, the beetroot that I did get, I cooked it up, I pickled it, and I got two little jars of sliced beetroot. But hey, it's always good to have your own beetroot in a burger. So I've planted some potatoes here, some slightly later than the first lot that I planted. But I had a few there randomly growing anyway, and I had some that were sprouting in a bag, so got a flower on that one. So I just randomly planted some more potatoes because I wasn't using this wee patch for anything other. In our impromptu greenhouse, they've got some more lettuces going on there. They need a good water. I need to have a bit of a sort out as to what is weeds, because I did plant a whole heap more lettuces. I can see one or two of there are lettuces, but I have got a whole heap of weeds as well, so I need to give them a good weed. You'll have seen I planted some yams in cardboard boxes. Unfortunately, the boxes just didn't hold up. The kids more than anything, running past, bashing them, whatnot. So I ended up buying some of these garden bags They were pretty cheap. I can't remember how much they were. I just got them from the warehouse. But look, these are the yams coming up. So that's pretty neat. They kind of just look like clovers. So yeah, as soon as they started springing up, I covered them up with some more dirt, like you do with potatoes. And I've just been watering them and leaving them, and yeah, hopefully in another, they take a while to grow, I think, maybe another 6 months. We'll have a nice bunch of yams there. As for these potatoes, check them out. Again, I buried them, and well, as soon as they started sprouting up, I mounded some more dirt over top of them. I've just been watering them, and yeah, they're going nuts. That is probably the best looking crop of potatoes I've managed to grow, plus an extra bonus potato there, which is growing nicely in the way of my spring onions. They're growing slowly but surely. I've got a few rows of them there. You can't see them that well on the camera. So of my actual onions, they're actually going to seed. Debating whether to let them go to seed and grab the seeds or what. A random spinach that I must have planted last season or something, because I didn't plant it this season, but I've been plucking the leaves as and when. Over there, that's one of our little garden things, which I just got that cane arch thing from Mitre 10, and I'm just using some wool strung around it to let it grow up, and I might put a little bit more of the string up there. But yeah, that's snow pea. That's one of the things that came from the New World Little Garden things. So we've got some snow peas. That's pretty cool. Now here I've actually planted some of my pumpkin seeds that I was drying on the windowsill. I planted a whole heap of them in a corner of one of the paddocks we're not using. But I haven't had great luck growing things down there, so I thought I'd just plant a few of them in here so I can keep an eye on them, and they're doing brilliantly. I have planted another row of leeks along here, but they're not showing up yet. I've got some more little random carrots that I put down there, and I've also actually got some more radishes that I planted. Now, as for the rest of my radishes, I planted some rows of radishes and carrots. These carrots are doing all right. The radishes, they went nuts. They're taken over. They've even gone to seed over the last week while I've been away. But check out the size of some of them. How awesome are they? So I'm actually just leaving them in the ground until I need them. And yeah, they store really well just in the ground. One at a time. If the seeds spread, then they can do that. Look at that. Some of those almost look like beetroot. If you let them go to seed for too long, then they do have a bit of a woody taste, so I tend to go for those ones first. And we've got some of the white tubular ones from the New World Little Garden promotions as well that my daughter Sam planted. So we actually had one of them with lunch today. Very peppery, yikes. My tomatoes, we're not doing that great. They just about died off. I'd lost hope, but then they came back, but I think they're a bit late coming back. So I don't have great hopes for tomatoes this year. So just a little trick, and I should have recorded myself doing this, and for some reason I didn't. I found an onion in the back of the pantry that was sprouting. It was sprouting quite profusely. Now what I did was, because most of that onion can still be used, I mean you can use the whole thing, there's nothing wrong with it, but I actually wanted to get the middle sprouting parts out to grow more onions. So what I did was I actually just peeled them layer at a time. So yeah, it can hurt the eyes doing that. Peeled it off layer at a time, used the layers that I peeled off, you know, to cook up for dinner. And the middle bit can actually be separated out. I actually got 4 sprouts off of this one. So I separated those out. I've just had them soaking. I've had them soaking in water for a couple of days. Most of them have still got some roots on them, not so much that one. Not sure how that'll do, hopefully it'll do all right. And I'm actually just going to chuck these in the garden next to the other onions. I'm not sure if it's the right time of year to plant onions or what, but you know, I saw it there sprouting away, so I thought, hey. Apparently though, these top bits, you can actually just chop them up and use them like spring onions as well. So yeah, as I say, I mean, it just shows from, you know, from growing next to nothing to having a decent crack at it. yeah, it's worth a go. It is always worth a go. You got nothing to lose except maybe a few dollars for a packet of seeds. So yeah, hopefully this has been of some inspiration. I'm going to get on to do a fair amount of weeding and watering of these gardens today. Keep at it, guys. I'll keep you posted, and I'll let you know how many spuds I get. All right, have fun out there. Bye.